They'll run to your spot. Run to your spot.
Run to your spot.
Run to your spot.
Wow.
Run to your spot. Hurry.
Wow, run.
We'll cover for you as you run to your spot. That was beautiful.
Wow.
It was something else. Also, so good.
Wow.
Good stuff, guys.
Yeah, great stuff.
There you
Wow.
go.
Great stuff.
Welcome back to...
Where do you look? You look there? Or do you look there?
Welcome back to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And together we are...
Ryan and John.
On the couch as always.
That's right. We're still on a couch.
Still on the couch. Producer Cara Tafolla.
You have to say everyone's names.
Annie the Skovmand.
Everyone.
We got Jerry Pinning and, of course, my homie Dexter Pinning. Wow.
What
That's
a location.
right.
This is a remote.
Wow. This is our first ever What the Podcast house party.
I probably look huge. I'm just like totally relaxing on the couch here.
Yeah, no, definitely. We are here in the living room of our friends Michael and Kat Pinning.
Avid watchers of the show.
As you know,
which
sometimes
appreciates.
special guest stars on our podcast. Definitely big parts of the 25-hour podcast.
live.
And, well, they're out of town this weekend.
This kicks off our winter living room tour where we just go to
Ooh.
different
We are going
living
to
rooms.
different
Whoa.
That's
All
kind
set
of
up.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
the what the house party.
What the?
Oh,
This is the
what the house
Pinnings.
party.
I don't. The best part
Guys,
about
off
this
the
is that
podcast, off the podcast, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
start that up. Let's
Cut it
start
out.
that up. Got it.
It's intentional.
Bye,
It's
Jerry.
And
Bye,
Jerry
Jerry.
is on the move.
Jerry,
Let's introduce one of our
Jerry.
guest stars today. This
What
is
the couch-
Jerry.
What the couch party?
She's licking the mic.
Wow, she just licked the microphone. She is
Just-
the biggest lapdog you'll ever meet.
Okay, all right, that's enough. That's enough.
Okay. Okay, do we need to send you away?
Said no. She's
No, she'll
Okay.
be fine.
Okay, she's just doing a funny little bit.
Chill.
But we're just excited to be here, excited to be in a
Love
new
to be here.
environment. And producer Cara, how's it all looking over there?
It's looking great.
Scooch, man.
Great.
You know, I'm back on my iPad.
Yeah, that's kind of fun and quirky. That's
It's kind of
great.
weird
Yeah.
holding this mic and doing it.
Yeah, kind of.
The left hand is weird.
Best part
Wow.
about this is that the Pinnings have no idea. Well, as far as we know.
No,
that
they know.
They're gonna watch
They'll
the
definitely know.
episode
Okay.
and they're gonna
All
see
right,
their
Jerry.
living room.
Okay, yep.
Which is
and
great.
Jerry's
Yeah, good
gonna come
luck.
visit
She
me
is-
now.
She is
Hey,
a
girl.
lot to handle.
Hey, girl. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna send you on your way now. Okay.
If she
time to
lays
go.
down,
Time
she's
to go.
Just
Time to
lay
go.
down, Jerry.
There's-
It's
I
okay.
think maybe there's
It's
a reason
okay,
that
Jerry.
a dog podcast doesn't necessarily exist.
What the dog cast?
No.
Wait, you guys, we have
Again.
so many good
Again,
ideas
cut
when
it
we're
out.
out and about.
Wow, guys,
Well, let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's
okay.
get into it.
let's really get into
Just
it.
our typical stuff, the
Well,
stuff we always talk
well,
about,
you
crazy
know.
stuff in the news, crazy stuff in pop culture. What you got over there, Annie?
Oh,
I wanted to talk to John
Okay.
privately, obviously.
talking to the mic,
Okay,
please.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we can't hear a
Private-
dang
well,
word
why-
you're saying, which is okay
Well,
with
listen, what are
me,
you
but
saying?
for most of the people that want to hear you.
Listen, man.
Whoa.
While we're talking about dogs,
Okay.
I kind of want to know why you've been so rough to me.
And
whoa.
I'm going to tell you.
Bone
Let's
to
hear
pick?
it. Bone to pick. Let's
Rough.
hear it.
Annie, I told you something in the walls of my own home about a friend of ours,
Oh.
and I'll just be frank because I already talked to this person. I told you the other night at your birthday party, I thought Michael, our dear friend Michael, whose house we're in, I told you in confidence, I thought maybe Michael's upset with me or frustrated with me. And the first thing Michael says when I see him is, "Oh, by the way, I'm not mad at you." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Annie told me that you thought you were I was mad at you."
Oh.
Listen,
Annie, why would you say that?
Because I was gonna
Zero
conspire
secrets with her.
against.
Zero
Get her.
secrets
No,
with
no,
her.
no. I knew Michael wasn't mad at you the moment you told me. You have this tendency to think people are mad at you.
That is true.
That's a tendency you have.
I've been a victim and I've witnessed this
So
very occurrence.
So I was taking this opportunity to be a bully,
Yeah.
and I had a conversation with Michael, and I said, "Hey, John thinks you're mad at him, so
Yeah.
why don't you just play into that?
What else
the
did you
next
tell
time
him?
the next time you see him, just like he'll come and say hi, and just look at him and walk away."
Why? Okay, we need to sort this out. Why'd you think that he was mad at you?
I just felt like
was he
a
just
little
cold shouldering
off,
you?
Like he was a little cold at your party, and I've already worked it out with him. He wasn't. I just felt like I and I realized that I came into the party with a little bit of social anxiety, so maybe I was reading into it.
What?
But I was sharing. I was
Wow.
sharing that with you, and
Annie,
you're like,
you had a mixed party.
We had a mixed friend group.
This was a
you
typical
did.
Annie move
Multiple
here.
friend groups.
Like
Oh.
three
That
or
leads into
four.
our next topic, which is your birthday party.
Let's debrief because listen. This episode came out last weekend, and it was your birthday. We didn't even address it. We didn't even acknowledge it at all.
Yeah,
so
it was so
true.
funny.
Annie,
we usually
it's
make a
true.
big deal about birthdays, and for you, we're
Annie,
like,
happy birthday!
Screw me,
You're
right?
25 now.
25. And for my 25th birthday, to celebrate the podcast, I've actually arranged
okay.
for a tattoo artist to come over, give us quarter tattoos. Come on
No
in.
way. Oh my gosh. That would have been
Too much-
so
Way
baller.
too much
That would have
planning.
been so cool.
No.
We
Listen, Annie, you pulled a 11-year-old, 12-year-old Ryan and thought that multiple friend groups could coexist at the same party.
Don't burst her bubble. She might think it was a
And
success.
well, it just fell apart on me. It just fell absolutely apart.
Ryan's like,
fun.
she's like, wait. She's realizing right now. Wait. It wasn't fun.
You know
guys
those
didn't have a good
those
No.
TikToks where like you're like when I do my personality B with friend group A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. She's
Yeah.
crying now.
Oh no, she's
No,
fine.
no, it was
For the
great.
listener.
Well, yeah, freaking grow
for the
up.
listeners.
Okay, it just doesn't
so you
work
didn't
out
like-
in the
you
real
didn't
world.
have it. You didn't
I
have fun time.
had an absolute
Oh,
ball
we
at
loved
this party.
it, but we're also
Annie freaking
different
balled
types of
out and got an Airbnb for her birthday party.
So
and
cute.
Freaking, we went to Costco, got a bunch of goodies. It
We
was
had
like
morning hot dogs.
it felt like my birthday.
Yeah. the
honestly.
glizzy.
It
Yeah.
was-
Yeah, morning
I
glizzy.
thought I had so much fun. And John, what's hilarious is you said you feel like you had social anxiety walking into the party. I literally have talked to so many people. I was like, you thrived in that setting.
No,
John was thriving.
I do.
Party John is a different kind of John.
But we've talked about this on the show. The
Unhinged,
pandemic
so
ruins
happy.
me. And in the first 5 minutes, once I'm in, I start going. But like getting there, and there's just a lot of thoughts that creep in. I'm like, I was late, so I was like, if I'm late, everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's late, and so I was having a hard time getting in. My
And you're
groove.
right. We were like that.
Did you
Whatever.
think that we were? Did you think Michael was mad at you because you were late? Is that why?
Well, there's a lot of things that kind of factored into it, which I won't go down the rabbit hole of it because
Okay.
there's just a lot of different elements to it that I thought like, oh, maybe he's thinking this and he's upset with me legitimately over this.
Let me
Wow.
let me say
Which-
this before we get too far into it. John, if I had realized that you were genuinely concerned of like
Yeah.
an actual friendship
Well, I told
issue,
you in my own home. It's not like
but
I
John, the
was
amount of times
just
you
chatting
told
with
me
you
that
about
you
it.
thought someone was mad at you, like it's
Yeah.
infinite.
It's an
You know,
infinite
Okay.
amount
like-
of times.
So
Hey,
if I thought it was like
I'll let you finish.
I really think Michael's mad at me. I need friendship advice. I would never have said anything.
Couple
but
things.
because I thought it was like, oh, someone's mad at me again. I'm like,
I love that you
let's
took
play
you
into
took
it.
that you took that initiative to just decide that wasn't serious because I told
that's-
you in my own home.
Well, that's an Annie
Okay, but
move.
that's
Even
where
if
we
it
hang
was,
out, is at your home. Where else would you tell me?
I'm gonna add some insight. I think that you guys played your parts completely well because John, this is a typical you where you're like, I don't know,
sure.
is this person mad at me? Like, I gotta iron this
Exactly.
out.
Sure.
And Annie is like, oh, you need to iron it out. Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
That isn't.
Exactly.
That's an Annie
But
move.
I-
in for
in
better or
John-
for
in
worse, you
John's
guys.
defense, I wasn't trying to iron it out. I was trying to make it worse.
Yeah. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay,
That's what
okay.
I'm talking
I
about.
see. I see.
That's exactly
imagine-
what
But
I'm
a
talking
little
about.
bit, but a
Imagine-
skosh of like, oh,
Imagine
I'm
how
fixing the
funny
situation.
The spiral would be of John coming in and being like,
Yeah, a mental
now
breakdown.
Michael, now
That'd be
Michael
funny,
is
huh? Me in a
avoiding
mental
me.
hospital. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Dang. Listen, let's talk about your party. Okay.
Not the violin.
Wow.
Screw you.
The tiniest
Dang.
violin just hit.
What did you say about it?
I said, what did I say?
You had us all about
I
yours.
I
Yeah.
said some things.
Yeah.
No, we're cleaning up this
Of
podcast, so I'm not going to
course,
say
of
any
course, Of course, you're right.
naughty words or anything. Annie, let's talk about your party because
Yeah,
your
yeah.
party
The
was
death of
something
your
special
youth.
here.
25, as I've said before, is the year you start to lose more cells than you regenerate, and you start a slow decay. And that, from all the people, all
Who
the internet
originally
people
coined
who
that
are
one? Was
like,
that the Mayo Clinic or was that?
it was science. Okay.
That
We
was
were
Sharp
just talking about
Hospital
how
made a
Annie,
big-
she pulls things out on the podcast, and sometimes they're true, and sometimes they're just like so
I
far
read
off.
them, like the vast majority of them, I read somewhere. Reliable
just
source,
retained it.
probably not.
I
But
get that though,
I've refined it and redefined it in my mind.
and
You're
that's
welcome.
good.
That is
So
nice.
that one is from science. Thank you.
So you took that to heart.
Your reference is science. Okay,
Science.
cool.
You
Thank
took
you.
it to heart and threw a whole wake for
I
yourself.
threw
Yeah.
a wake, and I invited everyone to come mourn the fact that I was starting my decay.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm
Wow.
so happy.
and
Decay
it was
all day.
Decay all
it
day.
was black formal.
Rave to the grave.
Was that rave to the grave?
Yeah, that was one
Yes,
of the
that was on a
Wow.
tombstone.
I made
Wow, bitches get
tombstones.
stitches, right, or something like that. What was
It
it?
was bad bitches
No.
die
Oh, that's
hard.
it. That's it.
That's the
That
one.
one I
That's
actually
the
have
one.
planned.
I thought
for
we
my
were cleaning up this
tombstone.
podcast.
Well,
Well, he was
That's
just
a-
reading.
that's a
He was
quote.
dictating.
That's a quote.
are we?
It's a quote.
That's
Are
a
we?
quote from a
It's a
That
quote.
tombstone.
happened.
It's a quote.
But yeah, so we came. John was kind enough to put together a memorial video for
A
me.
very long one.
A very long
you
one.
know.
And then we had eulogies. And the three of
It
you
was really
gave
nice.
really,
That
really
was
kind
nice.
eulogies.
Yeah, Ryan and I had like legitimate nice things to say. We fully dropped them when we got up there.
So here's the
So
problem,
good.
right? Is that
Yeah.
I didn't know who the crowd was going to be. So I wrote something really nice, right? I wrote, and I'll show it to you.
I'd love to see it.
I was going to text to you, but I forgot to. But then, you got to read the room when you get there. And the
then you read
room
it and you're
was
like-
not ready for like a
you're like, they wanna
thoughtful.
roast
I was
her.
like, I'm going to roast her.
Yeah, and you got to look at the lineup too. Prior to us, there was some good toast. So I was like, I don't know, are we gonna do the
Childhood
funny?
friends.
Are we gonna do?
We had to cut it.
Yeah,
we had
we
to
had
get
to.
through it and just cut through like a knife.
Cara was actually kind to me.
I
The
said
only
had to
kind
be
one.
after what they said.
That's
I
Cara's like,
think
I
I said
actually
some
only
nice-
planned
I
the
didn't say
roast.
anything nice.
Some
And
kind of nice things.
Ish.
John, I'll just never forget at one point you said something of like, I'm like, I don't have anything nice to say, so I'm gonna say all the things I hate the most about Annie.
Yeah, I
And
did
you
say
just
that.
listed the things you didn't like.
Couple
about
things,
Oh,
and then
dang.
then to top it off, I said that list is longer than the nice things I have to say. about
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
dang.
it. Which I brought
Yeah,
it back
yeah.
to just like one more jab, and that was it.
Yep.
And that was it.
Which I'm realizing in post when I was like processing it, I was like, that I come off like a real d-bag. in
Yeah,
that
I just
moment.
want to like all my friends
Yeah.
who I've grown up with for
Yeah, they're like,
the vast. I think the longest friend I had there was like 15 years,
Uh huh.
and they all thought you guys were funny.
Oh, good.
But I later on heard like reviews of their eulogies that they gave, and it was so sweet how like you could just tell how much they love you. Didn't get that back from you guys.
You didn't get
No,
that.
No.
We were
And
saving
you
it all
wouldn't,
up
and
for
you
this
wouldn't.
this podcast
And
moment
the-
right
oh,
here.
and
Well, I've got you,
The honey
Annie.
roast where you say nice things about me.
Oh, is that what
Honey
it is? The
roast?
honey roast?
What?
Honey roast. That's from New Girl.
You just
Oh.
made that.
I don't know
Honey,
it.
it's from New
I
Girl.
don't know
Winston Bishop makes it up.
What is that? Is that a show? Is that a show people watch?
New girl.
Annie, I'll take this moment to say is that we all love you. We're so glad that you're a part of our
Oh
lives.
my gosh, I'm tired.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is
Way
all
to
what
just-
I
way
said.
to defeat
This is already what I
everything
said.
happening.
I'm sorry.
That's
Ryan.
it. No, I want you to know it because
I'm with him.
I
Look,
want-
what
I wanna
was he
hear
saying?
him say it.
and we owe you an obligation in mixed company to we got to keep you humble. We got to bring you
Yes.
back down to earth.
Honestly,
You
that's
were
all I would
you
have
were
asked
flying
you guys.
high.
There she goes
Okay. Oh,
There's-
and there
there
goes
it
the
goes.
light.
She's got
Wow.
Burn
Well,
bright,
fantastic. Burn bright, burn out.
Burn
like
out.
Annie. Really.
Like me.
Annie,
And I'm
but you know,
dead.
we love you. You know we do. And we wouldn't honestly be here with you if we didn't. So
that's
true.
You know what? That is true.
Every
you guys
week.
would all just ignore those texts.
talking about things that happen in pop culture, that happen on
There's
Twitter.
some crazy things that have been happening this
What's
week.
going on out there right now?
Let's first talk about the Beebs.
The
yeah.
beep.
Kind of interesting. He sold his whole collection of music for $200 million.
What do you guys think of that? Like, do you think like he's like
It's a good deal.
he's like
probably.
moving
Here's
to
the
Mexico
thing.
or something? Like,
I
he's
mean,
trying to
when
get
was the
out?
last hit he really had?
He had he literally has a one with a DJ.
I'll
Diplo?
settle for the ghost of you. Wasn't that recently?
Yes,
Sure.
that's his most
Ghost.
recent one, and it was
Ghost.
big.
I would imagine that he's been doing the whole pop star thing for what? As long as
Since he was like 12,
I've been able to,
maybe
stand.
10 in Canada. Like you gotta go to
Yeah, so whatever.
places to
Half his life
perform.
probably, maybe more.
Yeah.
And
Definitely more.
And homie's ready to just pack it in and said, you know what? I'm done. I want to just go retire on an island or in Mexico or something and just go hang out and, give me that $200 million and see you later.
You know,
That's-
what's crazy is I was looking at some of the stats on it.
What you got?
'cause I was like trying to figure out if it's a good deal because I don't know.
200 mil?
Like I don't know the
I feel like
industry
he'd
to
be
know.
worth more than that.
Well, listen, he sold over 300 million units when his music was like active,
Sure.
and he got a cut of that, all that, and then he also now gets 200 million on top of that. So like on his entire catalog, career-wise, he's made $500 million
Sure.
on his music, and they're saying that's kind of the most you're going to squeeze out of it. Also interesting enough, they said that he would need at least 66 billion streams to make that kind of profit. So
Yeah,
like,
he's not getting that.
Well, I imagine a lot of his stuff he made, like, do you really think in the past couple of years, like, his career has been as big as it was in the early days?
well, and that's what they're
I don't
saying
know.
too. Is like his music is not like the Beatles
No.
or Elvis.
And it's just a
or,
different
you know what I'm saying?
landscape
It's just
than
like
it was, you know?
Yeah, and I was thinking about it too. I was like, with the music industry changing with streams, and you're no longer selling physical albums, or at least as many anymore. Like I feel like it's kind of the best time to cash out because you're saying, over time, if he's not going to continue his career, people are not going to keep going back to his catalog.
Right.
And so 200 million, I just feel like the number felt low when I heard it, but then after thinking about it, I was like, that actually kind of makes sense, I guess. But
we're gonna sell the podcast for 200.
Yeah, at least
mil.
200
Yeah, at least 200
At
mil.
least each.
Maybe he's gonna
200
get
mil-
into like
wait,
more fashion
800
stuff.
mil.
Like maybe he'll
Yeah.
go towards like how Kanye had his whole fashion line. Maybe it'll be
He has that
Towards
Drew,
fashion.
the Drew House line,
yeah.
and it's like
Don't know.
Guys,
That's
he'll
just like
never
his
spend
merch.
200 million. I'm sorry, he
Well,
won't.
I don't know. I mean,
He'll
Oh.
invest some of it. He will not spend.
I could see him
couldn't.
taking
Hard to say.
it. I could see him taking it and like turning it into like he starts his own like
go ahead.
Record label?
Fortune 500 company.
Record label. That'd be
Record
kind of
label.
interesting because
Record
he
label.
does
Kinda
have a
like
good
how
relationship
he-
with Scooter Braun, my
How
favorite guy.
he got picked up too.
Yeah.
Did Scooter Braun, who bought the catalog? Do we know?
Well, I don't know, but
Oh.
I
I don't know.
can't
That's a good
imagine
question.
that
I'll
he
find out.
owns his old stuff.
No.
He does.
No way.
But I don't
No
even
way.
think
Yes, he
back then. Like
does.
he was like 13.
Not the recordings of it
there's-
for
there's
sure.
The
no way
catalog is
he-
298 songs. He hasn't made that many. It's his whole
No,
catalog.
but okay. Did you a couple years ago? Did you watch the Justin Bieber little documentary series he came
Never
out with
Say
on
Never?
YouTube? Nope, not that one.
That's the
a different
concert.
one.
Okay, got
That
it.
is the concert, which is a classic.
Classic.
It is.
No, it was like this series, and he just kind of talked about where he was at, and he talked about his health problems, and like he was dropping his first album in a really long time, and it was a really good series. But
Okay.
it showed for him recording songs that he never released.
Oh.
So I think
You think
that
those
catalog,
sold too?
Yeah, I
Like-
think he sold all of his.
And I bet you
recorded
like
songs.
EMI dishes those out to like different producers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple of Katy Perry songs
Yeah.
in there or whatever.
It was
you
a
know.
it was a production company that bought it. It was
Yeah.
called Hip GNOSIS.
The only
Songs
one that's
Capital.
gonna really make money off of that is Baby.
Well, you might recoup. I mean,
You think that's still getting streams and plays?
I play
Yes.
that at every
At
school
every
dance.
wedding.
Yes.
Okay, so once every couple of weeks, that song gets played. I don't know.
I don't-
Maybe.
I mean, no,
I think
guess you're right.
he did make out. He for sure 200 mil is a good deal.
Well,
But what do I know? I don't know the
I don't know.
numbers. I'm just saying
Well,
like
we don't know
my
how much-
perception of how big he is right now.
We don't
Well,
know
he's,
how much
he's married to
Haley
Hailey
Bieber,
Bieber,
she's having a
so-
moment.
Haley Baldwin.
yeah Haley
Well,
Baldwin.
Anyone with the last name Baldwin's having a moment right now.
Oh, we didn't talk about
Wow,
that.
transition.
We didn't
Thank
talk
y'all.
about that.
Alec Baldwin.
Oof.
was-
He's facing charges.
He's been
facing-
convicted.
Has been convicted. Has been convicted.
Oh, he pled guilty, right? Yeah.
Pled
Why do you
guilty
think?
of
Why do you think
manslaughter.
that is?
I don't know.
Do you
We
really-
He
do
was
you
an
think that's-
executive producer on the movie?
I don't know.
You don't
Really?
know.
He was.
Okay, so maybe that's it.
Yeah, he's
He's
like
taking the hit.
and I'm sure they probably have linked it to like, if he's an executive producer, he had a hand in hiring this tech, and then the tech made the mistake. I'm sure there was probably some sort of
Shoddy
I
hiring.
don't think he had a hand in hiring anybody.
So
probably.
Here's the thing. I was
You're an
listening.
executive producer. You sign the papers.
I was listening to Dax Shepard talk about it with his podcast host Monica Padman on Armchair Expert,
Okay.
and he had an interesting perspective as someone who like works in like
In
in
the
that
industry.
industry,
Yep.
and he's like, I don't get why he's getting charged because like at no point is the actor ever involved in props.
Yeah.
Like you
course
just get
not.
handed it. Like you're told
Yeah,
like you're gonna
sure.
go do this scene. Here you go. And so he was kind of like
It makes me
speculating.
think there's something more. To
Yeah,
it.
he's speculating. He's like, there has to be something else that
Sure.
the investigators know that we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, what could that possibly be?
But another thing they kept on saying is
like
I
he
guess,
had ill will towards
I guess
the person?
the state defense was basically, or the prosecution was like, oh well, like just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean you get get to walk free
A
from
pass.
this.
Yeah, no, that
And so
makes sense.
a lot of people are speculating it's like we're gonna teach the world a lesson.
Yeah,
by
they're going to
you.
use him as a
Which is like I think
setting
is
a
crappy.
precedent.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
guess.
I don't
But
know.
also, like,
what could he have possibly
You
done?
posted
It was
about
an
it on the
accident.
1 year.
And
man.
also, what lesson? Like, you've known not to use loaded guns.
A lot of
Yeah.
times,
Forever.
A lot of
It's not like
times
he was
that's
like, I'm
driven
gonna
by the
shoot ya.
family, though. A lot of times, these criminal cases,
But
they really like the police can't do a lot if the family's like,
Okay.
really passionate
This is
about
a
it.
this is a rougher transition.
Here's
But
a
speaking about gun laws and trials,
okay.
the
Let it rip.
teacher who is shot by her 6-year-old student,
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one is insane.
I heard
Yeah.
about it.
Because right now, the things that keep on coming out is the fact that administration of the school
Yeah,
knew the
4
kid had a
times from that.
weapon.
Yep.
They dropped the ball, and even that apparently another kid on the playground at recess,
Saw
the
it.
kid showed this other kid the gun
Jeez.
and said, "Okay, and don't tell anyone, or I'm going to shoot you." And
Yeah.
the kid told the
Oh.
teacher, and the teacher told that teacher,
Told
and it went to the
And the
administration.
administration said it's almost the end of the day.
Let's just wait.
let's just wait it
Are
out.
you serious?
Yeah.
Crazy. So
They
she's going
literally-
for blood. She's like, I'm going
Oh.
to sue for $1 billion.
She'll
As
never
she
work a day in her life.
should.
Yeah,
Yes.
And,
absolutely.
and as much as the family is at fault with this child, in the family whose statement,
Oh yeah, they'll
'cause
get
it
to
was-
them for
'cause
sure.
For those who are completely unaware, which I don't know how you could be at this point, but a 6-year-old kid, like a second grader
Where
or
was this
whatever,
at?
it was some sort of elementary school, shot his
Midwest, I think.
teacher.
That's
Shot
crazy.
his teacher at the end of the day, and the family of this kid has come out and said basically like, this is a tragedy, and we were supposed to be with him at school as part of his like learning plan, which what a weird learning plan. Like I grew up in education, as we all did, I hope.
I grew up around school. I
Well,
spent a lot of time
Ryan
in the
was
school.
homeschooled. So
Yeah,
Ryan
so
doesn't
what
know
is
about
that
You
like?
didn't.
I don't understand.
But like my mom being a teacher, and I was someone, I had a 504, so I had a special education plan, and I just like can't imagine what you'd have to go through to like have your education plan be that one of your parents has to attend school with you every single day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I don't know what that would cause, but the fact that they knew that they had a gun in the home, and beyond the like negligence of like, oh, like your gun was obviously in some sort of reach of your child to take it to school, to then like
sure.
the family hasn't like necessarily come out and been like, we are deeply apologetic for it. They're kind of like, man, like accidents are like happen, and we believe in gun safety, and it's like,
That's
how
so
about you
gnarly.
How about you check your
apologize?
kid's backpack before they leave when you're
Or-
supposed to be going
Like
to school
how-
with
There's
them?
so many
Or
other things.
how on earth did he have
Yeah.
easy access to
To your
it? Like,
gun.
why is it not in the
And why
safe?
is it loaded?
Yeah, crazy.
Why
Yeah,
is it
that's-
loaded?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's the question of the year,
I mean,
really. Why is it
the
loaded?
mindset is like way different in different parts of this country
Safety.
too.
I
Like,
guess so.
The safety and like,
'Cause, like,
so-
you're not gonna sit there and load
well,
your
and
gun
a lot
if
of
a
people
burglar comes
keep
in. I
yeah
get that.
keep a
I
loaded
totally get
gun
that.
by their bedside like ready to go.
Sure, and
It's like that's
I get
kind of
that.
gnarly to me.
I also think this is kind of an interesting case of they always say like when these things come out or in just in general, like if you have a gun in the home, like you should like to some degree teach your kids kind of the safety of it, but also just like how it mechanically works. And I think this is a case where like that's gone too far, right? Like the kid clearly
Yeah.
knew how to use it, which is like another piece that they, should have maybe monitored or
Yeah.
because he like it's one thing to find it and then take it to school, but then like to know how to like how to aim it and shoot it, like
Yep.
that's to me is like they've obviously taught this kid
Yeah.
to some degree, but I'm like you're not teaching the other side of it, which is like
You should.
this is
never,
so dangerous. Like this is so
Yep.
so dangerous, you
Yeah.
know?
You know, there's more guns in this country than there are people. And as of today's January 26th, there's been more mass shootings in this country than there has been days of this new year.
Yeah.
Just in this new year alone, we've had something like 40 mass shootings.
Yep.
And that's mass. They quantify a mass shooting as any more than 5 people.
Okay, yeah, I didn't
getting
want to
shot.
ask it something like
No,
I
no,
don't know,
that's a good question.
It
mass
is.
being like, okay, well, like, but what's mass? 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
not
slow
it's
down,
important.
not all
Republican.
just like, lone gunman in a school kills 30 people. It's like,
And he pipes up, well, what does it classify?
But wait,
Actually,
if it's
that's
like
not
only
that
a couple, not
Jeez.
okay.
any more than 5 people. And there was like
Yeah.
a whole string of them, I guess, this past weekend. And
Yeah.
You don't
So
hear about it, which is
horrible.
crazy.
Well, that's the problem. Is now it's like, I don't get why anyone would want to travel to America at this point because it's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
We're kind
just
of the big
is.
like world
the
joke
country
in
of
that regard, aren't
freedom.
we? Kind of like, you see a lot of those TikToks where they're talking about like British people, and they're like, "Well, at least my school isn't a gun range." Like it's a
Yeah,
joke,
yeah.
but like that's kind of like
A
the
gun
sentiment,
range.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also, yeah, it's you're right. I mean, I agree, and we're definitely probably the leading, like,
In gun
dummies.
violence?
I
One of
saw-
them.
I saw this Onion article, and it was like the
Reputable
like,
source?
Like we can, there's no way we can take care of this. says the country or like the only place that this happens. Like quote.
Yeah.
It's like that's crazy.
It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, we've talked about this topic every time there's a mass shooting, and it's an epidemic, I think, that works on two levels, in the sense that, like, there's obviously a huge mental health crisis in America too. So it's like, and then you also live in the land where you can buy a gun and wait 10 days and get it. And it's like, okay, there's like too much freedom mixed with like, mental health crisis. That I think that's where that kind of crosses over a little bit.
Is the 10 days thing so you don't do anything rash?
No, it's supposed to be a background check. It's supposed to, they're supposed to, like,
check.
Do a
you
whole
know,
Make sure you don't have like a history
which
of
to
shooting
me,
people.
that to me feels like a viable solution, which I know they have that now, but I think cracking down the background process.
Well, and it should,
obviously
it should be
changing
more
that,
through too. Like
Yeah.
it should even be like a mental health check.
Right,
and like,
right.
Yeah.
But the hard part is a lot of like the major ones have been like first offenders. It's like no criminal record,
Yeah.
never
Yep.
went to see a psychiatrist, like lived out in the backwoods, like no records on him, and then just
Don't ever
up
live in the
and
backwoods. That's where bad things happen.
don't do
Yeah.
it. Just don't do it. You
That's
know?
where the bodies are
Move.
buried.
Yeah.
Just move.
So hopefully that teacher recovers, and
Yeah,
she
and
sounds like
I-
she is,
And
so
honestly,
that's good at
the
least.
administration, like, this should be
Oh,
a lesson in that administration failure.
That's the other thing that's been spurring the conversation about like the education system, which as again is another part of where we're like needs more support, needs
Sure.
some overhauling. But that's where a lot of teachers immediately, a lot of these influencer teachers would immediately come out when it happened and was like, I would bet $1,000 that this kid has been reported on and has been told to administration that
Oh, yeah.
he's making threats, and the administration is probably doing nothing about it, which
I
is
fully believe that.
which is the worst part, because it's like, you could have prevented it, not even on the gun control, on the gun level, but you could have prevented it on like a safety level for
Sure.
that kid probably shouldn't have even been in school. It's like, and that he should have
Totally.
been in some sort of disciplinary action. But, it's terrible things happen, unfortunately.
Another terrible thing that happened.
Cool. Yep.
This
Let it
week.
rip.
Uh-oh.
This is. Can I just
Oh,
say,
do you have-
best house party ever?
Do you have a terrible thing?
No. I have
No,
no
your
terrible
terrible
things.
thing. You go
My
ahead.
terrible thing is that my prediction about Wife Watch
Oh, yes.
so far has not been coming true.
Yes, I was right.
An unnamed source on the production of Sister Wives has come forward and said, in this new season, Robin and Cody, the now monogamous, once had 4 sister wives down to 1 wife. If you haven't been keeping up with Wife Watch over here, that they tried
Yeah.
to go to South America to get a new wife, and then somehow it like crashed
You've
and
never
burned.
done
South
that?
America?
I love to
Yeah.
get a new
Yeah.
wife.
To,
You've
like,
never done
get
that?
a new
Yeah, you
wife.
don't need to leave Utah to find
Oh,
another
yes,
wife.
you do,
no,
apparently.
have to.
He's too high profile.
Actually, yeah, I don't get why they didn't go back to Utah. They're like, we're criminals, and it's
Really?
like they literally have huge communities of polygamy.
They're criminals.
like,
They're criminals. Maybe
just needed a
maybe
good
they got
storyline.
got. Like
oh,
maybe the neighborhood was like, yeah, don't trust.
Get
He
out.
lost 3 wives. He's not polygamous. You know,
he's
I don't
secretly
know.
monogamous.
I don't
But
Get
know.
then,
out of
did
here.
you watch the end of that video? Because they were saying that it actually went horribly wrong.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is that like they went down there and they met this person in person,
Yeah.
and
This South American person.
this
Apparently she's
potential
really young
suitor-
too, which was kind of interesting. They added that, like
Oh.
Aren't they
specifically
all
that she was
young?
young.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
and so I guess that they're trying.
She was repulsed by them, is what the report
yeah,
was.
that's what
What?
the report
Rough.
was. Yeah,
That is rough.
She
Maybe
was
maybe
repulsed
she
by them.
agreed to meet them just to make fun of
to
them.
be on TV. Oh, 1,000% to be on TV.
Oh, is it
1000%.
B real?
It's B real.
Oh, you're just gonna give it up.
What-
like
this
To
is
be-
the second
Wait, what?
second week in a row.
Oh. Well,
This
whatever.
is
That's
the
kind of fun.
second week in a row that we have had
To
B-roll
be real.
on this
To be fair,
show.
it's gonna come out tomorrow. So
Yeah.
That's a good
But
time to tell our
Wife Watch.
listeners. Just
Tell
a
our
brief
listeners
pause on
what?
Wife Watch here. Starting next week, we are going to be posting our podcast on Wednesday.
Whoa.
You're watching this on Friday. The next
Yeah.
episode is going to come 5 days early.
It will be the day
Or
after
2 days early.
Valentine's Day.
What?
That's
No,
right.
Definitely not.
No.
Next week is
No.
February 1st.
February 1st.
In 2
It's
weeks,
okay.
it will be the day after Valentine's Day.
it's all good.
Okay, wait. So
Listen,
just to clarify, so Cody, first of
I'm
all,
traveling down to South America.
let me
Yeah.
just say,
With
little aside.
You're gonna tell
when
us
I found
that
out,
you're the woman.
I was the woman.
Oh,
It went horribly wrong.
when I found out his
Nice.
name was spelt Cody with a K, it was
Yeah.
devastating.
Immediately.
It's like
Devastating.
the
Yeah.
Kardashians.
So right off the bat, yeah, terrible.
Cody with
But
a
so
K.
him and wife number 4 went down to Brazil,
Was it
and
Brazil?
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Sure.
somewhere in South America.
You're just choosing Brazil.
I'm
then.
just choosing. Well, it's the biggest country down there. so.
Okay,
Got it.
Got it.
And just
Say less.
what is there like a wife
I guess they were
exchange down
chatting-
there?
well,
What do you
yeah,
mean? Like
there's-
they went
No,
By
to
the
no,
way, there's
South
lots
America?
of social medias to get
Listen.
extra wives.
No.
Yeah, you
Listen.
should get on it.
Ryan.
Polygamy.
Well, I mean,
There
maybe
is
you
Media.
a
don't.
dating.
Polygamy.
There's a dating website.
Okay.
Sure.
What's the
polygamy.
URL?
I think it's like
Just-
polygamydating.com or something. I tried to
way,
sign
it
my
couldn't be
friend
that
up
easy.
for it.
It could not
At
be
one
that
point.
easy.
But there's like polygamous like dating apps and like polyamorous dating and stuff.
MarriagePlus.com.
Sure.
Oh,
Good for them.
No.
polygamy
I just
dating
thought
app.
That's good.
I'm
That's
gonna,
pretty
I'm
good.
gonna make it.
Like Disney Plus.
But basically, the whole thing is they were chatting with this person online, FaceTiming her, and then went to go meet her, and it went horribly.
Yeah, of
awry.
course.
Okay.
So here's my thing: if it keeps
Maybe they got
going wrong,
catfished.
maybe I am gonna still be right, and maybe she'll be like, "I can't
Hey,
do this. This
but
is too
Annie,
hard. I'm out."
What I'm I'm right though, because they're gonna find the right one. They are.
Because the right one's out there, you're saying?
Yeah.
Or-
Annie's prediction is that he's gonna lose Robin, which is the only wife left.
The final.
And my
four.
prediction is that they're going to go out and find a new wife, at least one
Okay.
by the end of the year.
The first thing that comes up, the number one polygamy dating site,
Uh-huh.
www.modernpolygamy.com.
Good.
That's classy. I like
Modern
Okay,
polygamy.
but I think there's a difference between modern polygamy and sister wives, isn't there?
There's
religious.
one
I think
that's
culturally speaking.
sisterwives.com, and it's polygamy dating and matchmaking for sister wives.
There you go.
There's Swap Finder for poly
Okay,
couples.
see, Cody,
There's-
just get up on there.
that. It feels like there should be a documentary.
There's literally, there
about this,
is.
you
I
know?
wasn't crazy. It's polygamy.com.
Yep.
Mormonism. or
Polyg-
something?
Like the world of
polygamy matchmaking.
polygamy, you know?
Wow.
Escaping Polygamy is a show, and it was great.
We'll probably see it. Oh, was it really?
It was a real show, and it was 3 of the daughters of Warren Jeffs.
Uh-huh.
Or no,
Nice.
one was a daughter of Warren Jeff, who's like the one who's in prison. If you've seen the Netflix documentary, Keep Sweet and Pray, Pray and
my
Obey,
gosh, that
it's
one's
one
rough.
of his daughters.
You haven't
and
seen
then-
that? Keep sweet?
And then 2 other
Sweet?
girls who are daughters from another polygamous
Dude, you gotta watch
group
that.
all escaped, and then they made a TV show and a whole like nonprofit helping people in like polygamous families make a life outside of polygamy.
Wow.
Because what you don't know about that is that like there's a whole, these are communities. Like the banks are run by their churches. All their jobs are tied into their churches. Like they are
Totally.
solely fed in like living in like in these churches. And so if you try to leave, the bank will take your money. They'll like stop you. They have the police forces run by people from their churches, like these
It
neighborhoods.
sounds like Scientology.
Yeah,
It's giving
kind of.
Scientology
It
a
is
little
kind
bit.
of
Remember that
Scientology.
documentary we tried to watch about Scientology?
Oh, Lee
Oh,
Remy.
Yes.
Romney? We couldn't do it.
That
Literally,
was
it was like the whole
the
first 30
perfect-
minutes is like, and this
This
is
is
what's
why.
going to happen.
Here's
we
why.
are gonna get them.
Breaking
I couldn't.
Scientology.
I'm sure there's good content in there.
No,
if you
yeah.
have
No,
the
there's
time,
not.
because freaking Leah keeps going, and that's why we need to tell this story because people need to like.
But
at
she didn't
every,
tell any story.
and there was no story. It was
Nope.
like,
There,
yeah,
in fact, was never a story.
there was never
Okay.
a story.
In speaking of like stories, not stories.
This podcast is sponsored by the Church of Scientology. Go ahead, Annie.
Don't say
we'll
that.
Take,
I
we'll take
think-
any sponsor
I
we
think-
can get, you know?
Talking about conspiracy theories,
Go
I
ahead.
think we need to kick it to Cara because she was filling me in on our resident T Swift
dun.
conspiracy.
Oh, gosh.
I was already telling everyone.
Check back. Don't check
Well,
back
this was
in a couple
before John
minutes.
got here. A new music video premieres tonight, and we are all gonna watch it together
Okay.
at 9:00 if we
so
are still here.
by the time this posts, it will be great. What are your thoughts on how the video went? Do you love it?
I love it. It's very
Great.
purple.
Okay.
Very purple. So the whole
Wow.
thing is they think that she's gonna have another of her like Taylor versions albums hidden at the end of this one.
So there was a couple theories. There was like, oh, she's gonna release the actual Speak Now album after this music video. The other one is she's gonna release the release date for Speak Now because the music video is purple, Speak Now is purple. In her tweet today, she put 13 exclamation points.
John hates them.
And that Speak Now is the 13th album. The Taylor's version will be the 13th album.
Oh, I see.
In different posts, there's like 3/3, so people think the release date's gonna be March 3rd. So that might be the announcement tonight. Is that it gets released March 3rd? Also, she dropped this music video the same day that John Mayer announced his tour.
Oh, do you think they're going together? Or was Speak Now about him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeez, Annie,
I
you were
Speak Now was
didn't
about
know.
him. John
So
Mayer.
that's a whole
Do you
thing
think
too.
she knew that though, or was that just
Yeah, she was like,
coincidental?
she
"Fuck you,
definitely.
John."
Well,
Whoa.
John Mayer posted about 3 weeks ago 126.
Cara, our
And no
lo-
one knew what he meant.
our
And they're
love
like,
is
hey,
kind
what's
of
coming January
like
26th?
star-crossed.
Wait, he
like
announced a tour
Taylor
Today
fans,
he announced
John
it.
Mayer fans,
just
like
on tour. I
Yeah.
saw him on tour.
okay, so he did a tour for his
Yeah.
album for Sob Rock,
For Sob
Okay,
Rock.
but
and now he's
like,
doing
his
a
legacy.
Solo.
an acoustic solo tour.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
Lizzie
Yes.
McAlpine is opening for him.
Oh,
Ugh,
that's cool.
love.
Maybe we gotta go to that.
I know
one
I'm going to that
too.
show for
Okay.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
That was a great show.
Oh, yeah. It's
Does
in
he
LA.
can come this time?
He has this like famous Where the Light Is like recorded album, and I imagine he's like kind of hearkening back to that.
Yeah.
What, all of his acoustic versions?
So
yeah,
are
this
you
acoustic
guys?
show.
I know where Cara lands, but like
Go ahead.
who won you in the divorce, John or Taylor?
Me? I'm
me. I'm
definitely
going
a
John.
John Mayer fan for sure.
Going John Mayer 100%.
But I can't say. Here's the thing. I'm a John Mayer fan of his music. I can't say I'm a John Mayer fan.
Yo, you don't like him as
Because
a person?
Homie is such a talk about a d-bag. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
goes on these lives and like he just did this interview where like you can just tell he loves the sound of his own voice. Like he thinks he's so like what's up, Annie?
Oh.
What?
You guys sit here and talking to mics to
No,
hear your
okay.
own voice.
You know what I'm talking about? Like there's clearly like I'm not like oh, let me tell you like how wise I am. Like he talked about like he was trying to justify like how many people he's dated, and he's like, you know, I'm just like attracted to like a vibe, and you know, like
He's
I
literally
don't
dated
regret
so
any.
many people, and they're all younger than
He's
him.
like, I don't regret
way
any
younger than him.
relationship I've
All
been
of
in.
them.
Like, you know, like that's where our path started, and like our path ended, and like I love that, and I still love that, and I still am in love. Like it was like
Yeah.
so like lame, and he was talking about how like he writes like I want to root for him. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm the biggest fan of his music, and like you can't deny that he's not talented, but just like every time he opens his mouth, he's like, oh yes, like write it down in like a big book, like a scroll. Like everything he says he thinks should be like etched in stone, and it's just like it's pretty rough. It's kind of hard to be a fan.
But
But
his music's great.
His music.
his music is fantastic. And I'll die on that hill.
We've
for
been to
sure.
his last like 3 concerts.
Oh, I've seen him a couple of times.
He's great.
Yeah.
I love his music.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with you on the other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
John, I am single. If you need someone to talk to on Valentine's Day.
Oh, he's good looking. So
The
you
last
can't
time,
agree.
the
or
last
can't
rumor I
argue.
heard was that he was dating Kiernan Shipka.
Who's that?
She was in the new Sabrina like Netflix show.
No idea.
She's like freaking 21.
I
Oh,
have
sure.
okay. I have
Okay.
another moment. I have a couple things that popped up on my For You page
Whoa.
that happened today. That happened in the world, and
Mm-hmm. All
I
right.
feel like we need to
Oh.
talk about
Okay, let it rip.
the first one. And I sent you guys this video. They're rebooting MTV's Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
Was that that was the show where they
that-
take
is
your
that the
ride
reboot
and they
portion?
pimp it?
Are you
I-
telling me you never watched Pimp My Ride?
I think
I
I'm
never did.
vaguely familiar, but I never watched it.
I watched
Freaking
it.
My
I
Super
watched
Sweet
it.
16 was
So
where I'm
Sweet.
at.
Pimp
Yeah.
My Ride was awesome.
It was so good.
It was cool.
Give
They
it
would
to
take
me.
your car and
They
it would
pimp
be
your
like,
ride. Come on,
they
how
would
hard is it
pimp
to
your
understand? It's a
ride.
good
and they
concept.
would make it drivable, but like
Bougie.
stuff you wouldn't actually want.
Yeah,
but
it's-
it was
it's
cool.
kinda
It
ridiculous.
was cool, but like you didn't need shag carpet all over your car or like a camelback attached to your back or like a disco
Yeah,
ball
but that
worked
seems
and-
very 2000s.
and
In today's world.
Did it.
They redid it right
They
now.
redid
It's
it.
coming
This-
out.
So this girl was like,
Looks like it's in the
MTV Pimp My
UK.
Ride, and it was awful. And they're like, they
Oh.
put a flat screen TV, which is just a computer monitor that doesn't work.
Okay.
And they like
Okay.
covered all these vents, and so now
I can't
now
breathe.
now all the moisture is getting stuck in her car, and she has mold all over her car, and like all this stuff where she was like,
Sewing
they put
machine.
all these
Sue.
they put a sewing machine in her car.
Sue.
So it's like late 90s, early 2000s. Like everything was in like excess, right?
Yeah,
like you
so
said,
they're
like
doing
My
it
Super
again.
Sweet 16. Like
So
you know
good.
that worked then.
16.
Does it work now? I
Yeah,
mean,
people still have giant Sweet 16s.
Do
And
they?
my Super Sweet 16 wasn't that they gifted anything. They just followed
Oh, they always
the
got
story
a car, Kara.
But they
of the
paid.
no,
You know, they
always-
no,
paid
they
for that.
followed the story of the parents and what the kids wanted. MTV didn't do anything. They
But
just
you know
filmed
they
it.
paid
They
for it
paid
though.
for some of
oh,
it.
they fully did.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
but
There's no way they
still.
got that content.
That's like
for
those
free.
My 4 weddings, right? Like
Yeah.
Same thing.
Love
Oh
my
my
Same thing.
gosh,
weddings.
that was so
Four
good.
weddings.
That was a great show where the people had like went and judged each other's weddings.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
I
And then one
loved that
person wins
show.
a free wedding.
Yeah, their like
Yeah.
wedding gets paid for.
That's so
No,
gnarly.
it is. It's their wedding
It's
gets
like
paid for.
It's like
In
a
a
game of
honeymoon.
chicken
Yeah.
because
They
they all
pay for their
put
wedding
on
to get
these
a
lavish
honeymoon.
Right,
weddings
yeah,
in
pay
hopes
more
that
money.
they're gonna win.
I
And then
love
the ones
it.
that don't, they're like, we just spent $100,000 on a wedding.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I
The
bet you
Best
they
is,
all got
like,
paid
the
off.
way that they did that, and like they would always ask him like, "What do you not like at weddings?" And then it would be one girl going, "I hate buffets."
Yes.
And then we'd cut to the next girl. She's like, "We're gonna have the best buffet at any wedding." And I love buffets.
I love it when they're all eating and they're
But
like,
scoring's
oh,
hard 'cause you
the
don't
food
wanna-
is the chicken's a little cold.
You don't want to score everybody too high because then
You
what
wanna
if they scored
win.
you low and then you lose? I mean,
Yeah.
but you got to be honest.
I liked it though because
can't be
the
like,
person
"I
who
hate
always won,
buffets."
it was like, okay, that made sense. Like that was the
Yeah,
best.
It was never
wedding.
like
Really?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't
every
think I ever watched the
episode I
full
watched.
episode.
Do you ever? I mean, what other like shows like that were?
Nostalgia
that
TV.
'90s show came out. I know we talked about that a while ago, but it
Yes.
finally came out.
I mean, talk about reboots. I mean,
It did.
have you watched any of it?
I've seen clips on my For You page.
Okay. What do you think? The concept is that Eric's parents are now like the cool old grandparents
And they're gonna host
and all
his
of the
daughter
kids. Yes, the kids and their
for the
friends.
summer.
Yes, and not hide.
and not hide.
And not
right.
hide
And
because
everyone was
Not
there
hide.
and not hide because
Rough.
he is canceled.
And also, isn't Fez canceled too?
He is.
okay,
I don't
but
know
he's
why
in
he's
it.
on the show.
Well, because Demi Lovato.
He's
came
in the
out.
show?
He's
like
in the show.
Yes, he fully is.
Because
He's
he
not.
got
He's not
canceled.
Didn't he,
canceled.
like-
He's
didn't he,
not
like,
canceled.
groom
The
Demi
difference-
Lovato? Wasn't that the whole
difference
point?
Is he like got canceled, but he didn't get a case. You know, like
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
but then he was on CSI, and then he's like cool now.
Yeah.
no,
yeah.
it was like Demi
And we love
Lovato's thing
Fez.
came out. Well, and then there was some show that he was on that I think he like produced. I don't know if he was actually on it.
Okay.
But one of those characters. Oh no, I think it was that '90s show where they were
Okay.
like one of the younger like actresses was like, yeah, I got really close with
Oh,
him.
no.
And then
He did it again.
And then the video like cut to Demi
He's at it
Lovato's
again.
19.
The what is her thing?
17,
29?
29,
Oh,
yeah, 17,
God.
29.
That song was heartbreaking.
When will you
Yeah.
learn that your
Yeah, but-
actions have consequences?
Rough,
Yeah.
rough. Yeah, so
But he's fine. No, but he's a big
But
fun
he's-
part of the
he's
show.
on the show,
Ashton
so-
Kutcher's there.
Mila
I think it's
Goodness
one of those
is
things
there.
where like it's just not the same.
No.
It's
Mila
just not the
Kunis said that
same.
it was weird watching Ashton Kutcher like do the role again, and she was like,
She's
it's,
like,
it's
That's
weird
why I fell
because
in love
like,
with him.
I was gonna say, why would it be weird?
well, no, she said because like she does life with him like normal for
That's
so
so
long,
not
like
him.
he hasn't been in acting for so long,
Oh.
and she's like going back, like I see him as like the father to my kids, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
and then like seeing him go back to this like zany, quirky role that like what we first got introduced on. He's like it's just like he's like
now-
it's
now
I'll
weird.
be
he's like this
real. I
serious,
feel
like-
like he's not doing it as well.
Oh, probably
You
yeah,
think so?
of course not.
Like I don't think
He's old.
think
How could you? But what couldn't you argue that the character has grown up in some sense, so like the vibe isn't
Yeah,
necessarily the
totally.
same?
yeah.
So maybe it
you
is
know,
the
and
right
some of the sense of humor doesn't totally land. Like, I think, I mean, it's hard to do a perfect reboot too. You know, because
Yeah.
it's like
Where
some
are
of
the characters now?
the humor
what's
and the
happened,
characters,
and
and it's
also
like,
so much of the world has changed.
mhm,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think about this too. Shows like that '70s show, I feel like are just impossible to reboot well. Like I think about The Office, they could never
Sure.
do The Office
No.
again. You know, like and that
Never.
not
well,
just because
The
they're-
Office was a reboot.
It was a
Oh, sure,
kind of a reboot,
Sure,
not
sorry.
redesigned.
I mean,
Yeah.
like the American Office, like
Yeah.
the American version of The Office. Like you could never reboot that show because it's an old show too. It's been
Totally.
It's been on fair for like 15 years or
oh,
whatever.
and he's got
What?
something.
Go ahead,
They
Amy.
had a UK version of that '70s show.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
know
I
that.
saw this.
I saw the pilot, and I
What
was
was it
like,
called?
it was the
Huh?
exact
Is
same
it
thing, same
70 show
character
in it?
names.
No.
70
show.
There it is. There it is. There
on
it
the
is.
telly.
Hey,
at
your
70
camera's
show,
not over
innit?
there. Your camera's not over there.
70 show. Right, yeah, in it.
That's the show. How'd you know?
That's the show.
That's the show. You're so much better at it. You're so good at that.
Right, so basically, we got a little cheeky little show going on right now. It's called That 70s Show, right?
What's the British guy who's like?
Ricky Gervais.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
good.
funny.
So
He's
good.
I
funny.
was gonna say the guy with the teeth.
Oh no, you're
But
talking about
That's
Freddie
all of
Mercury.
them. That
That's-
is
We're
all
talking
of
about Freddie Mercury.
Gosh, no.
We just started recently watching Arrested Development.
Oh,
Rewatching,
no,
I
haven't-
should say, for me.
Okay,
Cara
okay.
for the first time.
I rewatched the first 6 episodes. That's all I watched.
'Cause
Because in high school, my
let me tell you something.
what? Can I say my
Oh,
story
sorry,
first?
sorry. Go ahead, go ahead.
In high school, my AP English teacher was obsessed with the show. Had a "There's Always Money in the Banana Stand" T-shirt in the room. I had no idea what the reference was. After you take an AP test, you have like 3 weeks of school left where you do nothing. So we literally every
I'm told.
period we watched an episode
So good.
and then talked
So
about it.
good.
And we only got through like 6.
Let me tell
there's
you,
always
one of
money
my
in the
favorite shows of all
banana
time.
Yeah.
And I'll stand by that.
It's so
So
funny.
good.
Some of the jokes
Oh yeah, they don't land
They
anymore.
don't land.
do not land.
No,
bad.
yeah, The Office too has
No.
some of those where you're like, it could not.
You're
air
like,
today.
when
No.
did this came
No
out in
way.
2005
4.
and we were making those kinds of jokes
Yeah.
still? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
especially like a whole part of like, well, the whole plot of Arrested Development
Yeah.
is that the family was like, it's doing like illegal building trades and like
yes.
trading
Yes.
With Saddam Hussein.
with
There's a whole
Saddam
storyline
Hussein.
where they're like sending troops to Iraq and it's like,
It's war
he may have,
times.
he may have committed some light treason.
some light treason. And it's just
No.
like, I look back and I was like, when you guys were making this, like, there were troops.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Like,
Now,
this was so-
those parts, I'm like, awesome. Yeah,
Gotta
make
keep it
fun of
relevant.
make
Gotta
fun of the
keep it
military,
relevant.
hilarious. Like a couple of like,
wait,
no, gloss
wait.
over it. Like a lot of like,
God.
like
Gloss over it. Yep.
Gloss over-
kind
just
of
keep going.
spicy, like jabbing at like gay people
Oh,
and like
yeah.
trans people too. Like,
Yeah.
really, I'm not gonna repeat any of the jokes.
No, say a
but
few.
like just really kind of like, oh, wow, like,
racism
yeah, yep.
against the Mexican
Oh
culture.
yeah, for sure,
Oh,
for
yeah.
Like crazy.
sure. Yeah,
I've really
yeah.
never seen the show.
But
Oh,
that
I
game
don't
was
stand
so
for that kind of
good.
stuff.
not
so.
not stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, cancel the show because like it is funny.
Because
like,
part of it too is there's like one son who's like aware that his family's a mess and like
yes.
blatant. So that's kind of part of it.
And it's like
he's like
it's
wow,
like
my
always
family's a mess.
sunny in that regard where like they're like,
Yes.
no, we look, these
We
are
know.
people that are
These are people
pieces
who
of
are
These are
pieces
awful
of crap.
people.
Yeah.
crap.
Except Always Sunny has
we
taken,
were, like,
taken
doing
off.
this
I'm
episode, man.
respecting
I love
the
it.
the Annie swear your hair.
Yeah.
So
Listen, I watched some episodes of me.
Yeah,
Didn't
you were
age
getting
well.
pretty rough.
I was getting rough. It was a dark time,
wow.
and
You've
I've
since
decided
been
to clean up
reformed.
my act.
Yeah, and I
good for
appreciate
you.
My
that.
formal apology
Well,
to the
5 more
internet.
months
Wow.
and then we're back on breaking the swear years, right? So
Yeah,
Good to go?
We'll get back to that soon. Don't worry.
oh, thank God.
No,
Listen,
don't.
but I'm
fine.
gonna keep watching it,
Or
and
you guys
then
start bleeping it out for me
No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
that's just
happening.
not gonna
That
happen
is
too
When
not
we get an
happening.
editor.
post production.
when
Yeah.
we, our next hire.
Annie, I
an
want
editor.
you to just bleep out yourself for one episode, and then you'll
Bleep.
understand
What the-
how
Podcast.
difficult and like annoying and
Just
tedious
bleep
it
your
is.
own self.
Yeah, well,
Don't you
Beep
bleep and the
you.
bleep the bleep.
Beep you.
I used to have to bleep out Olivia. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And she did that one where she just like went off for like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
minute. It was just like,
She's under contract though, so.
Gosh.
yeah, that's what it is.
Listen, are we too comfortable right now? Is this
What?
Is this fun to watch here? Is this
Yeah, it is fun. What?
The
Good,
color
good,
schemes
good,
are
good,
great.
Good, good.
You know, I started thinking about
Go ahead.
speaking of like Arrested Development, like little
Great
Yeah.
show.
fun shows like that, like The Office, New Girl.
Okay.
I constantly, this is so weird. I constantly try to find an actor that has been in like the big three, which is like The Office, New Girl, and I say Community because the Community is there's a couple of actors that have been in all three
Sure.
Huh.
shows.
You know, I've seen quite a few Office actors on Arrested Development.
Yes.
Like
Right.
as little. Like
And
I
it
saw
makes you wonder.
Kevin was like the guy that ran the auto body shop, and it's
Yeah.
literally like
Yeah.
1 or 2 lines. And there's like a throwaway scene where she has no lines, but it's Phyllis, and she's like sitting in the like office like meeting room or something in Arrested Development,
Yeah.
and she like you just see her, but she says nothing, and then she leaves. I'm like, that's Phyllis. There goes Phyllis.
Right. Kind of interesting that like I wonder if because all these shows were kind of being made in a similar time frame
At the same time.
Same lot.
like I wonder if they were all like going, hey, like let's just like we need a character because in New Girl, Angela
Well,
is
New
in there.
Girl's way newer than
She
The
is.
Sure.
Office
Sure,
and
but
Arrested
like what?
Development.
She's in the new she's in the New Girl as like a one
Angela
of the teachers.
is?
Yep. Yeah,
Yep,
the
Angela
girl,
in
and her name's
Office.
Angela in real life, but she's
Mhm.
also Angela on The Office. And I'm like, I wonder if New Girl was just like what's like when they're going through casting, or if do you think Angela was like actually putting in for
Oh,
these
I-
sub
yeah.
roles?
Have you
know?
seen there's a reel somewhere and it's like this old tape of all the auditions
Oh,
of
I
people
just
that
saw
went
it.
out for The Office like
Yeah.
But didn't
before it
make it,
came out
yeah.
it was like
Crazy.
Seth Rogen read
Ugh.
for Dwight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk read for Michael. A
Bob
couple
Odenkirk
people.
was in it, though.
Who is the
Was he?
guy?
He played like when Pam goes to a different office, she goes
Uh-huh.
and she like tries to apply for a job. He's like the manager of a realtor office.
Yes,
And he,
David
like-
Cross read for something.
Right, yeah.
A bunch of random stars, and you're like,
The
yeah,
guy
but
who played Ben on Parks and Rec. What's
yes,
his name?
he was like
Oh.
up for Jim, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
But then
yeah,
you
he read for
see-
Jim.
Well, it's kind of interesting because you kind of play those in your head, of like what it would look like.
It's hard to think like, oh, like these iconic roles
What's
by these
the guy
people.
who sings in The Office? What's his name?
Andy.
Andy.
Yes.
He was in
Ed Helms.
the Arrested Development
Helms,
episode we
he's
watched last
funny.
night.
Funny.
Yes, he was another random.
Yep.
Like he was a realtor. Like,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
just had like a couple of lines.
Yep.
You're like, oh, there.
No,
you know?
there
Also,
is.
like The
There's
Office
Ed
has this legendary like. All these actors that were in The Office
Yeah.
were literally about to like quit acting. Like
Yeah.
obviously we know
Crazy.
John Krasinski. He's like the most well-known story where he was like, "This was my last kind of
Yep.
go at it." But even like Ed Helms in an interview I watched, Ed Helms was like, "Yeah, like I was kind of near the end. Like I was just gonna like go do something else, and then all of a sudden I got this thing, The Office, and it just worked out. And it's just funny how
And
many,
then he
careers
just like
it saved.
leveled up.
Well,
It's kind
yeah.
of like everyone got their start on that show, and then
Right.
they level up. It's like he went on to do like the Hangover movies. Now he's just like iconic. you
Yeah,
know,
and
like this
he's
role.
in a show now. He's in a show where they read like stories or something.
Yep.
With, yeah,
Bedtime stories.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yes.
One thing that I saw is like the reason that they had to stray from the original Office, like kind of like the rougher
UK.
the UK
Mhm.
version, where like Ricky Gervais's character was just kind of like this like off-putting, really crude like boss that everyone would hate to work for, and they made Michael Scott like more like softer and have like humanity in him and have hope.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it was because of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yes.
While they were filming it, like
Oh.
6 episodes in, he just like happened to become a movie star.
This
Wow.
like
Like Steve
superstar.
Carell just
yes.
like that
Blew
movie
up.
took off and blew up.
Was that his first thing?
That
was,
was
like, his very first thing.
movie.
I
Yeah.
still haven't seen
Yep.
it.
And it just like blew up, and they're like, okay, well, we have to put some of that character into him
Yes.
Yeah.
for this to succeed.
And they really did, and like it kind of just worked out perfectly. And now, I mean, talk about iconic. Steve Carell's
Yeah.
just like
And the
What
first
I-
episode they
a
did it
legend.
with was the Dundies,
Yeah.
where they start
Yep.
where these people start heckling him at Chili's, and everyone
Dundies.
stands up for
I
him.
love
and
that
it was like
episode.
we
It
just
is.
needed to end it like every episode.
What
we need
I-
to end it with hope.
And you can totally tell because I
Really?
started
Yeah.
watching,
That's beautiful.
like rewatching The Office with my sister. She's like, "Come on, let's like during COVID." She's like,
Classic.
"Let's
It's a
rewatch The Office."
classic.
Those first couple episodes, you're
Oh.
like,
Rough. So different.
I cringe
What
so
I-
hard at those first couple of Office episodes. I'm
What I
like,
tell people is when they ask me like, oh, I think about watching The Office. Start at season 2, and I know that sounds weird. Start at season 2,
and then go back.
watch all the way to 7 or whatever it is, and then go back to season 1 because season 1 is what turned me off the first time. I started watching season 1
Really?
and I was like,
This
this is
not
so
funny.
weird. And then, but once you get to know the arc and like who Michael is, character is, and I
Yes.
feel like there's a lot of development that happens in 2, 3, and 4. When you go back to season 1 is now my favorite to watch because it's like when you
It
know
just
the
hits like a
characters-
shotgun. You're like, "Oh my god!" Like,
Oh, so
yep.
good. And what I liked
Yes.
about The Office, which is kind of interesting, because I had this realization about New Girl, which I know it's just like classic, like daytime or like midweek TV shows.
single cam comedy.
Right, is that Jess in the show, she always, if you look at the scope of the episodes, it's like she starts off with Jess wanting to do something and everyone telling her it's like a bad idea to do that. And then she does it. And then the rest of the episode is them fixing what she did.
Okay.
And I start to look at Jess and being like, this is so kind of like old hat, like annoying that like Jess keeps making these mistakes, like even though all these people are telling her not to do it. And that's how in The Office, Michael's is that person, right?
Yeah,
Michael's
sure.
the one doing it, but there's something so like charisma about Michael on The Office that you don't feel like you can get annoyed with him because he's so funny and lovable that I feel like it's just so different from Jess, for me at least.
Yeah,
But
Jess is annoying.
when I watch the show now, New Girl, I mean, I watch it for when I go to sleep, so I'm like constantly rewatching it. But
Adorable.
I'm like, sometimes I'll stay up and watch an episode, and I'm like, dude, like this is the same thing. Like, I don't know why it's different for me.
Totally.
But
Well, I mean, these shows develop a formula. Like, it's,
Totally.
I mean, Arrested Development is the same thing. Like, you know, the family screws up. Like, there's something wrong with the family. Like, there's money problems, there's business problems, and Michael is this like kind of selfless hero, but he's also part of this family, and so he tries
so
to fix
awesome. He
it,
messes
but
up.
he makes it worse, and then it all kind of works out in the end. You know, it's like these shows find their
and then the
formulas.
cousins
Always
are in
Sunny
love with each other.
is
and,
always
like,
like
it's just a side thing.
Yes.
Always Sunny is like these
Always
four
Sunny is good, too.
jackasses that
Yeah.
are like always
Yeah.
getting into something, and then they want to try and get something, and then it doesn't work out, and then they're like they end the show, and it's
With,
kind of just
"Oh,
like,
I guess we need to
ah,
start
well,
over."
oh well.
did you
It's
know
like
that two of those
so
people,
funny.
two of those four are married?
Yeah.
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 I just found that out.
Charlie Day
Yeah.
married the waitress.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
but
And
then
then
also
Rob is married to
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Yes.
who plays
crazy.
Awesome.
Dee.
They're so
Awesome.
funny.
That's
They're
a. If you're looking for a new podcast,
Their
check out What the
podcast is
Podcast.
great.
No, the
Check out
Always
What
Sunny
the Podcast.
podcast is
Oh,
a
yeah.
must
It's
watch
so
and listen
good.
if you like that
But
show.
I just saw an interview where the interviewer didn't realize that they were married.
Oh.
So they come in,
That's
and
funny.
I think he was going to a different interview, and she's sitting, and he comes in and kisses her and leaves. And the
they're like,
interviewer's
"What?"
like,
What?
Are you guys together? And
They literally
Caitlin's
got
like,
together like
"We're
season
married."
2.
Talk about not doing your research
Right?
before the freaking interview.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
She's like, I just thought you
So
guys were really
lame.
close coworkers.
That's like a Google search, like a simple Google search.
Yeah.
For real.
That's crazy.
Their love story is pretty hilarious. And the best is like when you see the clips of them talking like on the show as characters, being like, "You're disgusting.
Yeah.
You're absolutely disgusting
so
to me."
good.
And then it's like them at the same time getting married. Like,
Yes,
Aw.
totally.
That'd be kind of interesting, right? I mean,
To get married.
well, no, I just like to marry like a coworker because genuinely
Yes.
that's what it is, right? It's like
Yeah.
they're coworkers. Now it's different than like working an office job, but like imagine
Sure.
meeting like your
Well, and
significant
it was
other in
it
the
was really like
office.
because Rob's like the creator of the show. He
Yeah.
wrote the show and he was like basically the boss. And so
Yeah.
that was like you know what's funny? They just talked about this on the episode this week. Where, like she was on and she was like, yeah, like he really did his job well and like he was charming and so they just got together. Like
And she was
Yeah.
like, were all 3 of them friends? The 3
Yes.
guys?
the 3
Uh-huh.
guys.
And she
started
literally
it.
auditioned for this part. She was
Uh-huh.
not part of their
She was
group
just
at
like,
all.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
that
talk
show
about
had
like
such a good cast.
They
and-
grinded at the beginning. It was them
Yeah.
filming in
I
a
mean-
random apartment,
really
filming like the first like 4 or 5 episodes, and going like Charlie Day talks about going.
When you
to,
watch
like,
the first season
pitch
now,
it
you're like, this is
again and
bad
again and again.
quality.
Yes.
yeah, they literally
good.
like completely did everything themselves, edited it.
yeah.
Like
There's an
put it
awesome
together.
documentary. We should watch it because they
Yeah,
like
I'll
talk about them like creating the pilot and everything. And
it's pretty good.
yeah, it's awesome.
I love that show too. I think
great.
Always good shows, you know.
Well, guys,
Crazy.
this has been a great house party. I'll tell
Come
you
here,
that much.
Jer.
Jerry
The
is
pinning
now
manor.
awake from
At the pin-
her
Oh,
her
hey,
nap.
What the?
Hey,
Oh,
Jerry.
watch out!
Oh, watch this.
Watch
This is
out.
her
This is
move
her
right
move
here.
right here.
Yep. Where
She's gonna do it.
Aw.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
This is so sweet.
Usually
Normally she takes
tackles
over
you.
your whole
Yeah,
head.
No,
Jerry,
she
doesn't she
starts here,
tackle
and
you?
this
Well,
is what she does, and
there
then
it
she's
is.
gonna
Okay,
crawl
okay,
over
she-
your collarbone. She likes to scoot, and here we go.
She fully licked this microphone.
Oh, Jer.
And
What the Pinning Manor?
What the
episode
Pinning Cast?
114. Pinning Cast. Okay, that's old.
What the
That's good.
or I kind
She's
of like
on
what
the
the
move,
house
she's on the
party
move.
personally.
What the
but-
house party?
House party.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jerry.
House party part one.
Joey.
And Dexter's awake too.
Typical
Dexy was
Dexy.
sleepy.
Sleepyhead.
Wow.
John, are you guys getting a dog? Can we talk about that?
Oh
on the
yeah, we
show?
can talk about it. I'd love to talk about it. Yeah, Jordan and I have been looking for a dog. Just kind of. I don't know why. Okay, actually, I do know why. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Jordan's family member lost a dog. That's when we were
Yes.
talking about
Yes,
dogs
that's right.
and
We're talking
losing
about
dogs.
and losing dogs.
And I was a part of like helping take care of the dog, and I mentioned that earlier, you know.
Uh-huh.
But like obviously his family was super distraught and very emotional, and I had this thought where I was like, I want to connect with an animal like this family member connected with their dog. Like
Sure.
like the family member was so connected to this dog, and I felt like that'd be kind of a fun adventure. You know, like I
Yep.
haven't adopted. Well,
Yep.
so I adopted my dog Miles at my parents' house, but he lives there. And now, ever since I moved out, I'm like thinking, if I get a
Miles.
dog, like it's my dog.
Do you miss Miles?
Yeah.
You miss
I
hanging out
miss
with
Miles. Miles doesn't miss me. I know, which is fine.
True.
I go to my parents' house, and Miles looked at me like I'm
I
a
was like,
stranger. He's
"What's
like,
up?"
"Oh, hey,
"Oh,
what's up?
good
This is
to see you."
awkward. You are
Yeah.
back." And
Wow.
so I've been kind of thinking about, and also I also thought about, you guys have cats, and it's like,
True.
it's got to be so rewarding to have like a companion like that. So
No.
bottom of the story, more of the story, we're looking at dogs, and we've had some trials, and when a dog didn't work out, which is no big deal, and now we're at this program called Animal Pad, which I'm going to give them a shout out. They're so
Animal
thorough.
Pad.
Joe Musgrove got his dog there, and so
Oh my goodness.
Oh, nice.
yeah, and so we went there, and there's a bunch of dogs on there, cute photos. They write little bios. It's so adorable. What I didn't realize about Animal Pad is that it is so extensive to like adopt a dog, which is a good thing, right?
Sure.
Because you want the dog to go to a good home. Without sharing too much about our first experience of our first try with a dog,
Yeah, don't do
we
it.
got it from a facility that like didn't have a foster system. Like they had a facility and all the dogs were there, so there wasn't a lot to know about the dog. Whereas Animal Pad, it's a fully fostered program. So our dog that
Yeah.
we're looking at, his name is Arthur.
Purdy.
He's been with the
Two
family.
different color eye dog.
Yeah, he has two different color eyes, and they know so much about him because he's been with the family and other dogs, so they know he's friendly and stuff. But we had to put references down, and I should say my wife did, because I didn't have any say in the matter. In fact, she submitted it, and she's like, "Oh, I put Ryan and Annie down," and I was like, "Why would you put Ryan and Annie
No,
down?"
I have
What do
actually.
you mean, why?
Roll back. I have a bone to pick with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Full
Okay.
circle. We're coming
Go
full
ahead.
circle.
Wait, what's the
Jordan?
dog's name again?
Arthur
Artie.
Haas.
I need to find this.
Arthur
dog.
Haas. He's pending on there. He
Okay.
might be taken
John,
down because
John,
we passed our
John,
reference phase. What's
shut
up?
up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Amy.
I was at Casa de la Albright,
Uh-huh.
and I was talking to John's wife, Jordan, and she
Yep.
said, "Oh, is it okay if I put you down as a reference for the dog pad thing,
Animal Pad. Yeah.
Animal Pad?"
Close enough.
And
Dog
and,
pad.
and John overhears this, and he goes, "No, you can't put Annie. You can't put Annie. She'd be a horrible reference."
It's true.
Oh.
I stand by that.
Devastating.
I gave you a stunning review.
glowing review.
I had a little, like, the girl and I had a cute little chat. She was like, "Oh my gosh, they seem so sweet." And I
Did
was
she
like,
text you or did she call you?
she called me. We talked
I
on
got
the
a
phone.
text.
He
We
got
had
texted.
we had a whole conversation. She asked me all these kinds of questions. She asked me about your lifestyle, about what your home's like, about your personalities, about your family,
Oh
dogs.
wow! See, this is what I'm talking about.
It was
the process is
extensive.
extensive.
And
Oh,
I
and
know this
I had
because
a
I was
whole-
also a reference.
I had a whole
Yeah.
conversation. I said, I've seen they both grew up around dogs. His
said the
wife
same
grew up
thing.
around
Yep.
a rescue dog. All this stuff,
They're
and
probably
I
like,
said,
who sent him a script?
and I said they definitely need they need a family dog because they are family oriented.
Yeah, it's true.
I go,
Oh, that's
like
good.
I've watched them just like pour love into their family and their like their
Did
family's
you mention our
pets.
two fish?
Gosh.
Oh, you didn't mention the fish, Annie.
Tony,
Dang it.
Picasso.
I didn't
I've
mention
seen how much
Picasso or Tony
money
either.
and love you poured into Tony and Picasso.
I
into-
love those
into
guys.
fish over
I
the
love
years.
those guys, man.
One time I left, I was like on my way out of their house, and
Uh-huh.
they both went, "Are you not going to say goodbye to your nephews?"
Yeah, well,
Yeah, these people need a
The
dog.
fish are my
Yeah,
nephews,
those
but
people
I'm
are
not good
emotionally
enough.
stable
I'm
enough
not
for a
good
dog.
enough to be a reference. Okay.
it's true. No, I was just worried because
What do you think I was going to say? Like, rat you out for being a slob?
No.
Like, I would never.
part of it was I'm glad my wife told you because she fully submitted that application, and then I was like, "Did you tell Ryan we put him down as a reference?" Because I know she told you, and she goes, "No," and I'm like, "So Ryan's gonna get this text out of nowhere or a call saying." And I told you via text. I was
Yep.
worried he was gonna think it was a bit, like somebody was calling
Like
him,
an elaborate
like as a
ruse.
joke, being like,
A whole joke.
and then him like being like, "Oh, they're terrible," like kind of
Oh,
going with it,
yeah, I
and then
hate
we
'em.
like totally lose out on Arthur. But
Oh, the animal pad is where they had all those doodles.
well,
Yeah.
everyone's getting doodles.
Oh.
All
No,
those
they-
places are getting.
Well,
them.
no, well, yeah, because people don't know how to take care of doodles. But they're the ones who got like 15 doodles that were all matted. And Nikki from Vessel Tattoo
Got one of the
got
doodles.
one. Yeah.
Oh, there's
Karen,
also a
not gonna
big
happen.
doodle
I
thing
know.
that's happening.
have a doodle.
Anyways, so
Yep,
what I'm
yep.
realizing about the process is which is what I like about Animal Pad, but also the like the adverse side of it is like it's
You gotta
taking
tell an honest
forever.
review. Yeah, well,
You know, like because we went and
you want the
visited
dog
him.
or not?
We went and
I mean-
visited him on Sunday.
You love him.
Sweetest dog, and like that, and it's like torture because you leave and you're like,
You should be coming home with us.
you should be coming home with us, but you know, so
should be coming home with
now
us.
we've passed a reference. We got the email saying you passed your references today.
They did tell me. They said we'll let them know that they passed. When I was on the phone with them,
Oh,
they go,
okay.
"We're gonna go forward. They're gonna get the dog." They told me.
Oh, good.
didn't
But I
get
didn't
that
want to.
kind
I didn't
of-
want to tell you that.
No, that's okay.
because I
And-
wanted them to be like, "You got the dog."
No, yeah, and so now we have to do a virtual home check, which is like we walk around with our laptop and we kind of show them our home. And when I talked to the foster family about that process, we were talking about the whole process, and they were saying like, honestly, the home check is to make sure you don't like have like holes in your walls
Yeah.
or something,
Sure,
like
sure.
something really
Bunch of dogs
drastic,
living in your-
right?
Let me tell you one thing
What's up?
that they said.
What's up?
So she was talking to me and she's talking about all the different dogs they have. And she was like, I just want to find them the best fit and this and that. And then I was like, yeah, like they like to go on, walks. Because
Muffin walks.
I've seen you guys on walks.
Yeah.
That's right.
And she goes, oh, there's this like great dog that, like he's more athletic. Maybe that's a good fit. And
Oh,
I
you're
said,
like,
I
"Bert."
said, I think they really like that 2 different color eye dog.
Yeah,
And she
Arthur.
goes, oh, Arthur? Yeah. Oh, that's a great match. I was like, if I get
Yeah,
them
Arthur
in,
doesn't
like,
even say
some-
pending on their website.
Whoa. He's gone.
Arthur's not even
Arthur's
on
locked
it.
in.
He's locked in.
I was like, if
I-
I'm the reason that John and Jordan get some
They don't get Arthur.
athletic
That's
dog,
funny.
they
That's funny
kill
that
me.
they were like shopping around still. Like we were fully locked in. We're locked into Arthur. That's funny that they
Well,
were
I
like,
think
We
well,
want
we'll
Arthur.
try to find you another one.
Well, no, I think their whole thing is like finding you the best
Yeah.
fit
Yeah.
and that dog a best
Totally. And so Arthur's a total sweetheart, and I'm really excited.
fit.
Like
She did say Arthur was one of her favorites.
he's very chill, like cool with other dogs. He gets attached to males, which I was like, that's so rare in rescue
Aw.
dogs because rescue dogs usually hate guys sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they're like abused. Or
Right,
something.
because it's usually like some
By men,
total
abusive men.
a-hole that's abusing them,
Yes.
And so I'm really excited. Hopefully, like I said, we got to do the little virtual home tour, and the next podcast, maybe he'll be on there with us. I did think it would be kind of interesting to have him
Pass.
because he could totally come and like
Oh
sit on
my
the couch. He's super
gosh.
lazy. He's very lazy
I want to
dog.
snuggle him so bad.
I
I
know.
need pictures of this
You
dog.
You,
Yeah,
start-
I'm
you
gonna
have to
need
call him
some
by his
visual
name,
proof.
Annie. You can't call him
Just
two
call him
color
Artie.
eye dog.
Artie.
Already,
Two different
they
color
call
eye
him
dog.
Arturo too because it's a Hispanic family that's fostering him.
Arturo.
It's so cute.
I knew an Arturo.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow, that's a
hopefully
show,
next
guys.
week.
Guys, I can't wait. This is the beginning of Animal Cast.
Yeah, Animal Cast.
This is the.
True.
He's not into it.
I'm in.
What
No.
the Animal Podcast?
What the Animal Cast? We can't just be an all dog podcast.
I will
now.
bring Arthur on
Dog
at least for one episode, just to get a taste.
Yeah.
Because I
he
feel like
needs
maybe
to have a
I've
taste.
initiated the story. I gotta complete it.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
gotta
really fair
close
if
that loop.
the podcast dog, like, is he going to be our new mascot?
Well, yeah. I mean, depending on what happens in the
Very
next
good
couple of
listener.
months, he might be around a lot. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, I mean, that's just a
Wow.
reminder to the audio listeners. Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta
because
see him.
You got to see the.
We
you gotta
can't
see our
much
mascot.
prove
True.
unless he barks or like makes some other crazy little.
He doesn't
noises.
bark very much.
Well, then you'll never know that there's a dog on this podcast unless you watch it on our YouTube channel. And starting next week,
Wow.
every Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Whoop, whoop. That's right.
All right.
Guys, feel good?
Yeah.
Close this out. Take us home.
All
Aw,
right.
yeah.
On the couch as always, Annie the Skovmand, Cara Tafolla. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What
the
Podcast?
House party. Hey, hey. House party, honey. Party. Hey.